Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 58 here on season number 2. And today we are getting into a in-depth look into GoPro. So these videos are meant for educational purposes only and not meant to be taken as financial advice. You are responsible to protect your own assets, so please always do your own research. When looking at GoPro, I'm not specifically looking at the technical analysis side of GoPro. I'm looking at more of the long-term value investing fundamental analysis side of GoPro. With these specific videos, I would like to try and release one every single Sunday. So if you have any suggestions for future companies, feel free to post them down below and I will try my best to get to each of them. This is my first time doing it, kind of bear with me. They will eventually start to get better. This is just the first one, so it's going to have some hiccups, it's going to have mistakes, but eventually I hope to have a solid group of videos where people can go and be like, okay, that might be a good value company, or they can really use the channel as a reference to find possibly good companies to invest in. I would like eventually to move into a live stream where I'm actually able to teach you how to do this type of fundamental value investing strategy. As the live stream starts to get ramped up, those should start coming out. It's just we're running into issues with faster upload speed and then also computer Wi-Fi, that kind of thing. So just bear with me as I work through that internet problem. If you're like, okay, like what kind of setup do you use? A lot of what I use it comes from a book called Good Stocks Cheap, and you can feel free to check that out. I actually have a link down below. It's an affiliate link to the Amazon webpage, and from there you can buy the book. I think I get like 3% or something like that. But if you don't use the link and just search it on the internet, you might be able to find it cheaper. So I don't really care if you use my link or not either way. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look. So this is GoPro right here. This is kind of the setup for the value investing as far as I've set it up. First of all, you got to ask yourself if you understand it. And for me, the answer is yes. And this is based upon these like 6 questions right here. So the product and service that they offer is cameras, accessories, and drones. So you have to ask yourself, is it a product or service? And then what's the product or service that they offer? Their customers are going to be retail stores and then also the end consumer. About 10% of their sales do come from their online store, and then also retail sales through like Target, Walmart, small retailers like skate shop, maybe even like motorcycle, dirt bike, off-road kind of shops. And then they also have distributors as well. That would be their customer. Their industry, I label them as a technology company. That's because I think that they are developing technology in the specific camera industry, and so I label them technology and then action camera, maybe even just camera industry in general. Their form of business is a corporation. Their geography, so where the majority of their consumers lie, is going to be in America, specifically North America, Europe, and then Japan. So majority of their sales is going to be specifically North America, and then it'll start to trail off into Europe and then into Japan. The status of their company would be they're the leading producer of sports action cameras, and that would be pretty much, I feel like, an easy way to sum up GoPro. Is it good? You have to ask yourself, is it good? Next, you move into like capital employed, which right here is the equation to figure out that. So total assets minus excess cash minus non-interest bearing liabilities. And then you just basically walk through the 10K form and find all this stuff and put it in here. So I went back all the way to 2014. And then right here is where it starts to get real interesting. So this is return on capital employed. And basically on return on capital employed, you want at least like 3 years of over 10. I would like to see over 15% at least, because you figure that the S&P 500 has done 10%. So if your company's not beating the S&P 500, then really it's not a good value for a value investor long term. Obviously, just looking at the return on capital employed, this would be like for every dollar that they spent, this is how much money they made back in percent. So in 2014, for every dollar that they spent, they made 74 cents basically back above and beyond that. So they made $1.74 back on every dollar that they spent. Same thing here, for every dollar that they spent, they made another additional 10 cents. So they basically made $1.10 back on every single dollar they spent. However, the last 2 years, which has been completely crazy, is they went negative 124% on return on capital employed, and then negative 58.97%. So obviously, looking from it, if you would have invested in 2014, you could potentially still be sitting negative with your overall investment. And that's what I don't like about the company. And so moving into even free cash flow with return on capital employed, you get 28%, 20%, negative 50%, negative 20%, and then you start getting even to more negatives. For me, it was an automatic no that this company, I was going to, as soon as I seen that we got a negative 124% and a negative 58%, I was like, okay, this is not a solid growth company, especially when you're looking at value. So from what I'm seeing on here is that it's a company that their product life cycle came to market, they did great, but they need to either innovate to release a new product, or they're going to continue down the same path that they've been on. And for me, as soon as I seen two negative, especially those huge, if it was like a negative 10%, negative 15%, and same thing on 2017, negative 15, negative 10%, I would be like, okay, well, maybe we can still, you know, talk through this and work through this. But seeing a negative 124%, that means they ate up the entire last years from 2014 to 2015. That was 84% basically return on capital employed. And then 2016, they just wiped it all away and said, nope, we're going to spend it all, whatever. We're not going to make any money, basically. And so as a value investor, I don't like that. That's why I don't like GoPro long term. Anyways, we'll leave it right there. Let's go ahead and dive into the question of the day, which is, what game have you spent the most hours playing? And for me, it's StarCraft 2. I don't know what it is about that game, but I've been addicted to that game for a long time. I actually used to play it probably like 6-7 months ago still, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to delete it because I really want to go hardcore into this YouTube thing. And so I deleted it and moved into YouTube, and YouTube has basically become my new addiction for the most part. Anyways, like I always say, if you have any questions regarding Stash, Acorns, Robinhood, as well as general investing advice, business, Etsy coaching, post those questions down below. Don't forget to subscribe up here and check out my Robinhood recap January edition. Check out this video right here. And as always, thank you for watching. I really